Yo, so everybody's looking for certainty, but everything is risky. You know what I mean? The relationship you're in, it's a chance it's gonna fail. Like the marriage you're in, it's a chance it's gonna fail. Every time your kids go outside, it's a chance they're gonna die. Every time you try to start a business, it's a chance that that's gonna fail. Like, and being obsessed with what could go wrong, it just keeps you paralyzed. And for one reason alone, just lack of faith, lack of faith in things going right due to uncertainty. You know what I mean? Like, we won't take a step unless we're certain, a lot of us. And it's like we have to be 100% certain that it's going to work before we have enough faith to take a step, which means we have to gather 1,000 resources, and then we have confidence through our resources, but not confidence through the process. You know what I mean? And if you know step number one, just in the process of doing that and having a positive attitude, that could take you to step number two. That could take you to step number three. Like, you would think it sounded ridiculous if someone refused to drive from New York City to California because their high beams at nighttime doesn't light up the whole entire path from East Coast to West Coast. You'd be like, dude, your high beams is good enough for 500 feet in front of you, right? How is that not good enough to get there? And when you get 500 feet ahead, the next 500 feet, the path will be lit up for you. You know what I mean? So that's similar to the process of like having no idea how you're going to get someplace, but knowing that if you know step one, that's at least a start. You know what I mean? You don't have to know the way the whole thing unfolds. You know what I mean? And so yeah, just don't. You can't make it your business to even know the whole process. Just try, right? Because then you don't know the alternative of you not trying. Now you fantasize failure for so long, and fantasizing about failure, right? Do you know a lot of the things you imagine that could be going wrong? Over 90% of the things that the way you imagine it doesn't even happen that way. It doesn't even turn out as bad as your imagination makes it seem. But since the brain can't tell the difference between something you're vividly imagining, something you're actually experiencing, you feel the panic of something you're thinking about 10 years later, right? As if it's happening now, just because you think about it so intensely. So it might as well be happening because your mind can't recognize the difference. That's why you might have anxiety or a panic attack about future events or what if this and what that, like, you know what I mean? Because the mind makes it real, your mind makes it so real that to you, you don't know, you just can't tell the difference. I mean, of course, you're consciously aware that you're not undergoing serious trauma at the moment, but if you put yourself in that place mentally and then you draw from yourself the same emotions that you would feel if you were undergoing that drama, what's the difference to the body? What's the difference when it produces stress levels? And that affects, you know what I mean? That affects you on such a deep level. That affects your heart rate. It affects everything, to the body. What's the difference? You know what I mean? Because the mind controls the body. So yeah, man, you might not know, the alternative of if I try, what if I fail? It's better to try than to not start at all. It's better to create something that everybody criticizes than create nothing and criticize everyone else, which is what most people do. You know what I mean? So many artists, they're like, what's up, Iris? So many artists are like, yo, what if I put out a song, no one listens to it? What if I draw a painting, no one buys it? What if, so what? Like, there's 7 billion people in this world. You're going to make your decision based on a focus group of 15 people that told you they don't like your artwork. And because 15 people say they don't like something, you think that's the entire voice of the marketplace. When I say the marketplace, I'm talking about 7 billion people on this planet, and 15 people can't make a collective decision for 7 billion people. Why? Because all of our interests are subjective. You know what I mean? Every time somebody likes something, that's their point of view. You know what I mean? It's crazy when people argue about art or they argue about music. They'd be like, you like that music? Why? And it's like, yo, because it's subjective. Because if I think it's good, then it is good to me. You know what I mean? Like, people actually argue about who's the best artist. We argue about subjective things and try to make them objective, right? And you think if 5 million people like an artist, that makes him good? It makes him good to 5 million people. But what about 7? You know what I mean? What about the other 6.5 billion people? You know what I mean? What about the rest of the planet who hasn't heard his music? Like, how do you know that everyone's gonna? Because not everyone's gonna like one thing. You know what I mean? Not everybody's gonna like God. Not everyone's gonna like Jesus. Not everybody's gonna like the books that you think are interesting. Not everyone, and that doesn't make it a wrong or right thing. You know what I mean? I remember one time somebody sent me a poem, and she was like, "Oh, so tell me what you think of it." I read it. I didn't like it. And then she started justifying why she wrote it. She said, "This is the way I feel. This is what I'm like, yo, like you don't need a justification, man. Like don't feel hurt because I don't like your stuff. Like it's just not for me. It's not when I look at art, it's not what I look for. You know what I mean? It's not what I'm interested in. Like cool that you wrote it. So I don't know. I don't know if she was looking for some positive feedback, you know what I mean? And then got devastated that she didn't get it. But she felt like, oh man, like she just took a blow, like a hard blow because I didn't like something. Which, if your mind makes it seem that way, then to you that's how it feels. You know what I mean? So whatever you're doing, you gotta have strong skin, man. You gotta like not give a damn about people's opinion. Like nobody's like, I don't give a fuck what my own mother thinks about me. Like her opinion, meaningless to me, completely meaningless. Why? Because even my own mother could talk me out of my potential. Even my own father could talk me out of potential. You know what I mean? So I give no human being the right to have their opinion levitated above mine's when I know in my heart what I want to be doing, what I really feel driven to do, what I feel like I'm meant to do, my calling, my destiny. Anybody, if you value their opinion too much, you're giving them the power to talk you out of your destiny. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's the closest people to you. Most times it's the closest people to you, right? So just got to be strong-willed, got to be strong-minded. You got to want it so bad that you're willing to stand alone. You know what I mean? You know how many people buy Call of Duty because their friends play it, but they're not really interested in that game? It's just because they have a bunch of friends they could play with. Nothing wrong with playing video games because your friends are playing it. You know what I mean? But for me personally, every time I buy it, like when I make a purchase and decision, I'm always asking myself, yo, am I buying this because I'm peer pressured into it? Or do I actually like the shit that I'm buying? Like, that's an important question to me. Like, I don't mind playing video games with friends, but I don't want to buy something just because everybody wants me to. If it's not what I want, then I'm spending my money literally to please other people. Nothing wrong with like, Call of Duty and stuff, or nothing wrong with like Street Fighter, right? Street Fighter, Tekken, great video games. Mortal Kombat, pretty fun. I don't care how many of my friends have those games if I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't like it, yo, y'all could play that by yourself. I'm not into that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not into ice hockey. You know what I mean? I'm not into like, so like people are like, yo, let's go to the skating rink, dude. Let's play ice hockey. I'm like, nah, man, I'll pass. I'll come and be a witness, but I ain't trying to like play that. Like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. And then people will make that out to be a bad thing, that I don't want to participate in something I have zero interest in. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes people will make you feel like that. Like, personally, I hate small talk. I'm not a fan of text messaging, but people, when I say that, the people that love it think that I'm like, like that I'm hurting their pride or ego. Well, maybe I am by saying that. And it's like, bro, like if you like texting, text your life away, bro. Like, I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying I'm not interested, because when people text me, they never really have anything meaningful to say. They just want to say, hi, how you doing? What's up? What you doing? This and that. And, and it doesn't lead to anything, Like the other day, someone was talking to me. They was like, yo, so where do you live? America. What do you do? Oh, I do this. Oh, are you single? Nah. Oh, are you, do you want to get married? And it's like, is there a point to all these questions? Like, do you need something? Can we skip to that? You know what I mean? Like, and so yeah, sometimes people perceive that as not having patience. I just don't value people trying to waste my time. Like, what's the point of asking a bunch of questions, right? And this is just my subjective point of view. You guys can think whatever you want about this. But what does it matter if I'm married? What does it matter if I live in North America? What does it matter? Like, what does that do for a person asking me those questions besides satisfy their curiosity? And then what? After they know that information, it's not like it makes their life better or my life better, but it's just small talk. People think they have to have small talk to have big talk. I skip to the big talk, man. That's just me. And I'm not saying, like, I don't believe that everyone else has to be that way. You be what you want to be, like whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so anyways, yeah, so there's going to be people in this world that when you dislike something, they're trying to make you feel weird for disliking it. Whether that be you won't participate in a video game or a game, or you don't like texting. Like, I literally tell people I hate texting, and then they get surprised when they don't get a response from me. I'm like, if I tell you I hate something, why would you be surprised that I don't engage in an activity that I specifically told you I hate? Like, shouldn't it make logical sense to you that you won't get a response since I already told you I hate text messaging? But yet some people be like, yo, you don't text back. And it's like, yeah, well, I told you I hate it. Maybe that's why, you know what I mean? So, but anyways, yo, like, you don't know the alternative of not trying. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why not try? Like, because I'll tell you what's the alternative of not trying for a lot of people. It's living to be 75, 85 years old if you're lucky. You know what I'm saying? If God so wills it that you live that long, and then having nothing but regret in your heart because you listen to all the pessimistic as neighbors, relatives, family members, everybody who told you you were incapable of doing something. Now you're 85, you're old as hell, and there is no going back to build up, do that startup business. There is no going back to invest that $100,000 that you had into buying property and starting up a restaurant. There is no time to go back to be a video game designer. You know what I mean? And even though if you're 75, 85, like, it's not like there's no hope for you at all, because you could still start up that podcast that you always wanted to do. You could still do things. It's just that you have less time to do them now. And then you're going to end up blaming everybody else for your shortcomings and everyone else for like being so negative and pessimistic, and nobody supports your dreams and nobody believes in you. People barely believe in themselves. You expect people to support you. You know what I mean? You gotta stop getting mad at people that don't support you. They barely support themselves in terms of what they really want to do in this life. Like, they barely believe in themselves. So when they have no belief in themselves to draw from, how can you expect them to believe in you? They don't even believe in themselves. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people are drinking out of dry cups. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that you're disappointed in, that if they actually knew God, they would be different, man. They wouldn't treat you the way they did. They wouldn't be mean. They wouldn't be cynical. They wouldn't be condescending. You think your parents would have abused you if they knew Jesus? You know what I mean? If they had his character, you think they would have, you know what I mean? Like, and if you're drinking out of a dry cup, no wonder why you're thirsty. You know what I mean? Like, they're not connected to the source. Like, you know, when I say the source, I'm talking about God. Like, you know, I view God as like a flow of water, right? Like a body of water, right? That never runs dry. And if the people you're talking to are connected to that source, then they're drawing from abundance, and they never run dry either. And that's why they always have so much energy to help you out, love you, be compassionate. But anyone that's cut off by the source, and they're cut off by not, you know, having the same theology, not having the same mindset as God. If they don't think like God, they don't act like him. You know what I mean? If they don't love like him, then they're gonna pick their own version of what they think love is, and they're gonna love you from a broken place. And then you're gonna be a product of their brokenness. Now other broken people are breaking you. You know what I mean? And that's the cycle. That's the cycle of life. And these are the things that distract us from moving ahead and like, you know what I mean? Like, focusing on our dreams and doing what we really want to do. Sometimes the people you think wish loved you are the people that care the least about you. You know what I mean? Sometimes we try to pick and choose. I used to get upset when fat chicks like loved me in high school. I don't want the fat girls to like me. I was like, yo, how come the girls that I think are interesting looking, how come they can't like me? And it's like, oh, okay, because I can't pick and choose who that is. That's why. You know what I mean? Like, it's not up to me if a fat chick likes me, and it's not up to me if the pretty girl that I really want doesn't like me. Like, I have no say in the matter. You know, all I could do is try to be the best version of myself, and some damn person in this planet's going to think I'm attractive and cool and worth being with, but I can't let my self-esteem get crushed by a focus group of 15 women that thought I was ugly, that thought I was shit, that thought I was, so what? That's 15 people. You know what I mean? So the best way to deal with rejection is to remind yourself that there's 7 billion people on this planet. 7 billion people. And what that means for you is, if you're an artist, so what if 25 people hate your music? Go show it to 200 more people. So what if no one wants to join your business? Go show your business to 2,000 more people. So what if no one likes your personal brand or your clothing line or your makeup products or whatever it is that you do? Like, so what if people don't like it, considering how many damn people are in this world? There's so many people in this world that could potentially like the things that you create. And if you let 25 people crush your viewpoint, you know what I mean? You think because 25 people don't like your stuff, that makes it bad? It makes it bad to those people, to their subjective point of view. It doesn't mean that your artwork is bad. It doesn't mean the music you create is bad. It means the 25 people you showed it to don't appreciate it. And it's cool because it wasn't meant for them. If I write a song that people don't like, cool, it's not meant for you to like. But there's someone in this world that this song is going to speak to, and it was written specifically with them in mind. I don't write songs for people that's not going to like it. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know who those people are. That's why if I write a song, I just put it out into the universe, right? And just pray to God that whoever's meant to hear it will hear it, and leave it at that. You know, life is a numbers game. A percentage of people are going to love your content. A percentage of people are going to hate it. A percentage of people are going to ridicule you, criticize you all the time. A percentage of people are going to partner up with you and ride all the way to the end, man. Like, once you realize life is a numbers game and you accept those numbers, right? You'll have less anxiety. A lot of anxiety, fear, like panic and anger. There's just expectations, failed expectations, because you try to control those numbers. You know what I mean? You might ask, why is it that I show my business opportunity to 100 people and only five convert, or maybe five or six people sign up? And how come 95, 96, 94 people are completely not interested? Because life is a numbers game. You know what I mean? Because like for every 100 people you show something to, like when it comes to business anyways, that's realistic numbers to expect that only five people will actually join you in business. And don't get mad at the 95 that don't want to join you. They just don't have the mindset where they process your business opportunity as something worthwhile to them. Like they're like, okay, you have a business opportunity. Like, so like it just means nothing to them. And you might show them, you know, the benefits and this, and you try to incentivize them with this, like, you know, I don't know. So that's why I see some marketers, and what I see them doing, making a lot of money. What they're doing is every week they make thousands of dollars, and every week they post their results, and then their results get them new results, because people are interested. Yo, like you're making thousands of dollars online, and they're not even promoting the benefits. They're not even talking about the company. They're just showing, hey, I got paid this much, like $4,000 weeks. $10,000 weeks. Eventually people start seeing that on their timeline. They start commenting, yo, more info, more info. What the hell are you doing? Why? Because you're not advertising a company and talking about how wonderful it is, but yet not acquiring any money, right? Because there's a lot of people, they haven't made a sale yet, and they're going to try to advertise how other people can make a sale. But you got to understand the psychology of that. People won't believe that you could make a sale. They can make a sale if you haven't. If you have zero sales and you're trying to convince people that making sales is easy, then for them listening to you and them knowing that you haven't made a sale, it just doesn't sound reasonable. That's why they're not interested, because people need to see you killing it sometimes in order for them to believe in themselves. And you might think that that's retarded. You might think, yo, how come people can't believe in themselves without me killing it? Because, man, I don't know, man. Everyone's looking for an example. Like, like eventually you see a guy killing it long enough. You're like, yo, you know what? If he could do it, I could do it. And then you have people that's been watching you for 9 months finally join your business opportunity, because for 5 months consecutively every week, you always have new results, $1,000 weeks, $2,000 weeks. And you post the screenshots of how much you're getting paid. And they're so damn interested because they hate their job and they know you personally. And now your results is speaking volume. It's talking to them subliminally, and you don't even know these things are happening, and you're getting signups left and right. Why? Because people want to join the winning player. Because if you're a winning player, people psychologically, they believe you to be qualified to teach them how to do good, since you yourself are doing good. And that's what I notice with the people when it comes to the network marketing industry, direct sales and all that stuff. It's all the people posting their screenshots and making money videos and lifestyle videos. And that's why a lot of people fake it till they make it, because they feel like that's what they have to do to get ahead. That's why people go to the airport and they hop over the fence at the airport, stand in front of a private jet that's not theirs, take a selfie like it's their jet, hop the fence, pray to God that they don't get caught by the cops, come back to Instagram, post it to make it seem like they're qualified to sell you a $3,000 mastery course on how to make money. That's why people do that stuff, because they feel like that's what they have to do to be successful. You know what I mean? Because they don't know how to do it like authentically. And I'm not even mad at those people. I just understand that that's where they're at mentally. You know what I mean? That's what they feel like they have to do to succeed. So anyways, I don't know what you guys want to do in terms of goals, things you really want to accomplish. What's up, Tony? So just please, man, please believe in yourself, man. Anything's possible, man. Like, if we were to dig up some man from 500 years ago, and I showed him this technology, and I showed him how many friends I have on Facebook, and the fact that I could do a podcast, and God knows how many people are listening live or on a replay, and you guys are all parts of the world, he'd literally ask me, what form of sorcery is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this shit is crazy, man. This technology, like, this wasn't realistic. A lot of you, realistic is your favorite word, and that's why you might never accomplish anything. You know what I mean? Like, you got to let possibility be your favorite word. What's possible? Always asking what's possible. You know what I mean? And trying to extend the limit. Go as far as you can, right? Because you'll never know what's possible until you push the boundaries and then draw back and then push it a little bit further, just to realize you were capable of more. You know what I mean? And then your comfort zone is expanding, and then the boundaries are getting pushed, outwardly. And then you're moving forward more and more, accomplishing more and more, because you believe more and more. You know what I mean? So it's all about belief. It's all about faith, and that's the key ingredient to carry you forward. And motivation, inspiration, those things are good too. I think motivation, inspiration, these are the things that get you started. But building some strong disciplines, those are the things that keep you going. It's the disciplines behind it. It's the, you know what I mean? Like if you run a mile a day, or 3 miles a day, excuse me, 3 to 5 miles a day, like, like after a while, if you don't keep that as a discipline, your stamina decreases. You won't be able to run 3 to 5 miles a day because it's been 6 months since you ran at all. It's been 1 year since you ran at all. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, man, the disciplines, that's what keeps you going. And the disciplines is what extends you to the next level. I was watching a podcast, and it's crazy to think that a human being could run 100 miles in less than 24 hours. You know what I mean? This guy, his best record was like 204 miles. He jogged 204 miles in less than 39 hours, less than 40 hours. And I'm like, yo, like, I never thought that was possible until someone did it, and then it's like, yo, that's crazy. It's crazy to think about, because to me, 20 miles running in a day is like ridiculous. Imagine 100, like, you know what I mean? So like, yo, you don't know what's possible. Like, he would have never known what's possible had he not tried. You know what I mean? So give me a second. I apologize. So, yeah, man, I just really want for everybody to just try, man. If you fail, so what? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, you're gonna die the moment you fail. People think that failure means death because your brain, that's how you communicate it to yourself. Because then it's like, you posted about your business, right? You told everybody on social media what you're doing, and now everyone's asking you, well, where are the results? And then you have to bury your head in the sand like a fucking ostrich in shame, because you're like, yo, man, I had such high hopes and expectations, and I did a lot of announcing. You announced more than you executed, right? And now you have to deal with the people that are wondering, well, what's all those big announcements that you make? Like, what's the status of that? You know what I mean? So, and some people, they might not be able to handle that. And that's why I've seen quotes where it's like, yo, it's better to build in silence, because people can't critique what you're building if they don't know what the hell you're building. So you build in silence, you know what I mean? And I understand that, like, sometimes you might have to do that and then let your results do the speaking for you. And in the meantime, fortify your mind so when you get mean comments, you're able to handle them, Like, I think the best way to deal with mean comments on the internet is to just believe that people have the right to make them, no matter how atrocious they are, you know what I mean? Like, these are some of the principles that has really helped me. Like, I really believe in freedom of speech, right? To the extreme. I believe people have, like, yo, let me tell you a quick story, right? And I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on here, but some girl, right, I was on Discord. Discord is an app on a phone, social media, sort of. It's kind of weird. It's like you could be on a voice call with up to 29 people, more than that. Some girl, like, she didn't like the way I was typing. Like, she thought it was maybe too positive or whatever. I have no idea, to be honest, but it triggered her. And the way I typed when I was on Discord, it was like I would write 2 sentences, double space, write another 2 sentences, double space, write another 2 sentences, double space, emoji, enter. Like, she didn't like that format. She was like, why do you space out your sentences like that? I'm like, yo, because I have free will, man. Like, because I feel like it. And she got so triggered and she got so mad, started cursing me out. Yo, this girl threatened to kill me, man. She threatened to, like, send a hitman to my house type shit. And that, I know to a lot of people that's completely unacceptable. To me, what went through my mind, I was like, first of all, it's just words. Second of all, when people announce they're going to do something, the likeliness of them doing it, it's just, man, it just drastically decreases, right? You know what I mean? Because people who are really about anything, they don't make announcements. You know what I mean? Like, people that are really like thugs and gangsters and stuff, you think they tell you that they're about to punch you in the face? No, they just punch you in the face. You think they tell you that they're going to rob you? You think they tell you that where they're going to catch you and what they're going to do? Like, come on, man. It's everyone who has no intention on doing those things that announce those type of things. But anyways, I didn't take it personal because I knew that she must be in a bad mental space for her to think it's cool to do that to other people, right? And she just must be suffering internally. And when people are suffering internally, their suffering spills over onto you. You know what I mean? Like, they take everything that's none of your business, right? They take all of their life problems, and then, you know what I mean, they just throw it at you. Like, you're the one that's like accountable for everything bad happening to them. Like, everything that bad happening to them is completely your fault. Now, of course, it's not your fault, and the other person knows it's not their fault either. But instead of getting offended by this person, I reached out to her. I direct messaged her. I'm like, yo, you good? Because, like, you don't seem okay, man. Like, I'm here if you want to talk. I didn't take offense that she threatened me. I didn't care that she said some stupid ass words that I know she wasn't going to do anyways. And I didn't try to provoke her either. This is where the part of the conversation when people be like, oh, you're going to threaten me? Well, go ahead, do this. And let me tell you what I'm going to do to you. And this is going to happen. And I didn't do none of that. Why? Because she doesn't need me to be offended by her. She doesn't need me to take that personal. She needs me to understand that she's suffering. And that's why she's communicating like that. And she needs me to be an adult enough to like see past the facade and just reach her in a dark place and pull her out of that place. Because, you know what I mean? It's better for me. You know what I mean? It's better for my mental health if everyone's not offending me all the time, because life sucks when you're always offended. Life sucks when people are just, you're so triggered by everything and you think that people need to stop pressing your buttons in order for you to be good. No, you have to get rid of your buttons. That's how you be good in this world. Because if you have 1,000 buttons, you're at the mercy of people. You better hope that people respect you enough not to press your buttons. Because people, when they're having a bad day, their goal is to make everybody's day bad. You know what I mean? And I realize as humans, like in this world, we're going to either make this world better because we were born into it, or make this world worse because we were born into it. And it's all a matter of choice, you know, free will. Like, what path do you want to take? And some people don't know how to not make the world a better place because they're so consumed by the injustice of this world that they produce injustice. You know, everything in this world is going to manifest after its own kind. So kind people are going to be kind. You know what I mean? Like, motivational people are going to motivate. Inspirational people are going to inspire. You know what I mean? Wicked people are going to, you know what I mean? You ever, man, like, I've spoken to people that get mad at me. Like, they're like, what do you mean you don't get mad? What do you mean? Like, things don't really make you mad? And then they get mad at you for not being mad. It's like, you know what I mean? Angry people, they're trying to spread that doctrine. It's like, no, thank you. I'm not interested in being mad all the time, man. Like, how is that a good emotion that, like, and people, I'm sure people don't want to feel it, but they're so used to it that they think that that's what life is. They think life is being mad all the time. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so the girl who threatened my life, like, it wasn't personal. You know what I mean? I knew that it was a deeper rooted problem that had nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? So we actually became cool like, we're good now. You know, I talked to her and she was like, yo, man, like, thank you for reaching out. I sent her a video that I thought might help her. You know what I mean? I'm gonna send her other positive videos today because she doesn't need me to, like, trip out just because she threatened my, man, you know what I mean? If I know the Lord protects me, like, plus I'm never gonna die, man. Like, if I know that I'm gonna go to heaven when I die, like, what are you gonna, if you threaten me, right? And I believe in eternal salvation, what you're threatening to, like, send me to heaven? That's what you're threatening me with. You know what I mean? Like, you're you're threatening to send me to a place that I can't wait to get to. You know, I'm not in a rush. Like, but at the same time, like, yeah, going to heaven, that would be nice. What, you're gonna threaten me with eternal salvation? That's what it sounds like to me when people threaten to take my life away. That's why when they make idle threats, it's like, okay, like, you know what I mean? So anyways, like, yo, so I don't know, man. I'm so happy, you know, being this type of person. Because when I wasn't like this way, I was unhappy as hell, man. Because I had expectations. Everybody let me down. It bothered me when people didn't believe in me. It bothered me that just everything fucking bothered me. I was just such a bothered person. You know what I mean? Because I just had such a standard and a criteria on what people should say, think, and feel. And it's like, yo, you're not alive to please me, man. You're not alive to live up to my subjective point of view. You're not alive to, like, follow my indoctrination or follow my religion or follow my diet plan or if I'm a vegan, like, you're not alive to convert to what I think your dietary plan should be. Like, you know what I mean? Nothing wrong with having these type of conversations. But I know a lot of people, they get dogmatic in their principles and they make you feel like you have to abide by their rules or else, you know what I mean? Like the people that threaten people with damnation, right? Oh, if you don't change, you're going to hell, right? God doesn't like this. God doesn't like that, you know? And there's this post, it was like, people spend so much time talking about the punishment of God and talking about the wrath of God. Well, then no wonder why no one wants to hear about the love of God. You know what I mean? Because it paints God out to be some tyrant, man. Like he's a drill instructor. You know what I mean? A drill sergeant, you know, trying to recruit people into the military, right? That has no regards for, you know, just looks at you as a bunch of servants, but doesn't really like you, doesn't love you, just wants you to submit to him and doesn't care if you don't care about his rules or whatever. Like, you know, just doesn't have your best interest in mind, just wants to convert you, just wants to make you believe what he believes, you know? And that's how a lot of people who follow God misrepresent him, and they get other people to think that they're like, well, if that's what God is, then I have no interest in following God. You know what I'm saying? Like, when atheist people Like when they talk to, I understand what they're saying, man. Like I understand atheism. I understand why people would, they're like, yo, where was God when my mother got raped? Where was God when my dad overdosed? Where was God when all these people starving? Where was God? Like they're hurt, man. They're hurting people, man. That's why they don't believe, because they think that a loving God would actually do something about what's going on. I've heard stuff like, yo, God needs to get off his ass and like help people, man. Where's he at? Like, if there is a God, and it's from a place of pain. And religious people get so offended that someone doesn't believe in God that you don't even have the grace to minister to them because you're too busy being offended by them. And in offense, you can't love people, because in offense, you only see people for what they did wrong to you. And that's all you're going to see them for. You know what I mean? And so I don't give myself permission to see you for how wrong you are. Because if I'm if I'm right and you're wrong, like if I come to you right, you're always going to be wrong, But if I come to you righteous, like, and if I come to you believing that there is potential for you, no matter how far gone you are, that's powerful. It elevates me and you. It elevates me because you don't have the power to destroy my day. It elevates you because now, since I believe in you, maybe you'll have a chance to believe in yourself. Maybe you'll be like, man, I wonder what the hell Rob sees in me that other people don't see, that other people, no one else ever tried to encourage me. No one else tried to inspire me. No one tried to tell me that I was capable of doing things. I wonder what the hell is he talking about when he says that, that I'm capable and I could get rid of anger. I could get rid of anxiety. I could follow my dreams. I could accomplish things. I don't have to be a bum. I don't have to what I'm saying? I don't have to, another topic I want to touch on briefly. This might be the last thing. I'm not going to be here too much longer, but I do want to do another podcast tonight. But give me a second. Much of message. Meant to say much needed message. I hear you, bro. Thanks for stopping by, Tony. Appreciate you, bro. Hey, Domingo. So, man, I know a lot of you get mad at people that take government handouts, and you're like, how can somebody sit idly for 85 years? Like in that place when you're mad at them, you might not be able to speak life into them because you're too busy judging their current life, right? And I know why you're mad at them, because you're like, yo, maybe you compare yourself to them. You're like, yo, I'm productive as hell. I'm doing stuff. Why do people sit on their ass and take a handout from the government? I think it's one reason alone, man. They don't know what to do with their time. And when you don't know what to do with your time, what else are you going to do with your time besides waste all of it? This is why some people watch 10 hours of Netflix, 6 hours of Fortnite, 10 hours of Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. Like, people are literally like, yo, what the hell do I do with my time? A lot of people are living to die, just consuming time. You know what I mean? So I don't think the problem is that people take government handouts for 75 years. The problem is they don't have nothing internally to draw from, any inspiration. And maybe they did have dreams. Maybe they did have things that they wanted to do, but this world suffocated the life out of their dreams. And now they don't believe in it because nobody else did. And that's the danger of finding your value through other people, because the moment nobody thinks you're valuable, you question your own value based on other people. You know what I mean? And now you're a product of other people's disbelief, and their disbelief for you is molding your own disbelief in yourself. You know what I mean? And then there's a lot of people that's like, yo, man, like, they're like, why should I work when I could just get handouts from the government? And you know what I mean? When I could just get a check, when I could get public housing, food stamps, and just do nothing. Like, the concept of doing nothing to a lot of people excites them. Why? Because they don't know, they might not know if there's anything that's worth their time doing, or anything exciting, or maybe they've been fantasizing about failure. What if I fail? What if this? What if a lot of insecurity? You know what I'm saying? Like, so yo, like when you meet people like that, you gotta do more than just get mad at them, because your self-righteousness and how you think you're above them because you work and they don't, that doesn't help them, man. That doesn't help them become better. It makes them worse than what they are, because now they got enough people telling them that they're shit because they sit in their house collecting a check from the government. You know what I mean? Like, don't be the other person that does that. Like, that doesn't elevate them at all, like, and does nothing for their situation. Just makes them feel worse, and it just reminds them, and then makes them lash out at you. Like, oh, who do you think you are saying this to me? Like, you know what I mean? So, and you might think that you're trying to do them a favor by saying that, but the reason they lash at you is because they don't believe your words are coming from a place of love. They believe it's coming from a place of judgment, and judgment is final. You know what I mean? Like, the worst type of judgment is when you think that someone has no potential to change, that they're always going to be an asshole, they're always going to be evil. You see them at face value and you judge them according to what they are. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't give myself permission to judge people according to what they are, because no matter what, they could change. The mindset probably has to go, but the individual itself has the potential to change. And the mindset, like, the thing about mindset, it just gets transferred from one human being to another. And even though they get rid of a mindset that was killing them, that mindset still exists somewhere in the world. You know what I mean? When you dislike people, this is the last note I'm gonna end on, by the way. When you dislike people, it's not personal. And here's why. Think about the qualities that they have. Sometimes you can't even pinpoint why you dislike somebody. Maybe they're controlling, they're impulsively telling you what to do, they're always trying to be your daddy and your mommy. And, like, these are some of the things that could be the reason, but maybe you're not good at communicating, or maybe you don't know how to communicate the things that you don't like about them. So you simply default into, I don't like you because you're annoying. Well, and then they ask you, well, what makes me annoying? They're like, I don't know. You're just annoying. You're just annoying. But basically you have a standard that they're not living up to, whatever that is, And what I was going to say. So I want you to think about the most annoying people that you've ever met in this world, right? Like, condense all of that into one person. Like, all the annoying qualities that you ever seen in this world, try to think of one person that possess all the bad qualities that you absolutely hate, right? Now imagine that person multiplied by 400 other people. Imagine 400 of those type of people in the same room. You know what I mean? Like, that becomes an event that you don't go to because you hate that mindset. It's not the individual that you hate. It's the mindset they possess. Because if they had a different mindset, they would not be the person you're complaining about, probably. They'd probably be somebody you'd be cool with if they didn't have a mindset that you despise so much. But a lot of humans don't know how to differentiate hating the mindset from hating the person. They think the both are the same. And even though the mindset and the person work in unison, the person is not eternally merged. The person is not eternally merged to their mindset, and they do have potential to change. So whenever you hate one person, just know that there's like 500 million other people that have the same mindset as that one person you hate. And if you met all of those people, you would hate them too. Why? Because they have a thought process, and the thought process dictates their actions, and their actions dictates your perception on their actions and on them. And then you judge them for face value, throwing their destiny completely out the window, not realizing that they have potential to be something that you're not disgusted by anymore. If only they would change. You know what I mean? If people were half of what they could be, if people were half of what God created them to be, yo, man, like, your perception of them would change. I know it would. You know what I mean? So anyways, I put this, this podcast, I want to talk about the picture briefly. On the top of this picture, you're going to see a guy, he's digging for gold aggressively. And look at the bottom picture. He's so close to those diamonds, and he gave up. He walked away. You see how much digging he had to do to get to, like, the diamonds? It was right there. It was like less than a foot of wall left for him to dig through. And he got discouraged and turned around, while the other guy's going to beat him to it because he never lost hope. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, like, hopefully this doesn't sound harsh when I say this, but either you learn how to adapt or you get crushed by life. I see no alternative. Either you learn how to get strong. Everything you struggle with, there's a book dedicated to the subject. There's a podcast dedicated to it. There's a video. Ask more questions. Ask more good questions. Ask questions like, how do I get rid of anger? Like, do a lot of research. Go through the Bible. You know what I mean? Like, read scripture. Like, but don't stop just there, because there's a lot of people that the Bible is the only book they read, and they only understand their perception of the Bible, and they never grow because they think that it's a sin to read other books or something. You know what I mean? They don't realize that a secular book could bless the hell out of you, like, literally, could bless the hell out of you, and then you're not living in hell anymore because you read a good book, because you listen to a good podcast, you listen to a good seminar. You know what I'm saying? Like, even me personally, like, I know I'm a decent human being now, but like, I'm still I'm trying to elevate myself. I'm listening to people that lecture better than me so I can improve my lectures. I listen to people that have bigger vocabulary than me. I could learn new words from them. I could understand new principles and ideas, and you know what I mean? And then when I start speaking on stage, I'm going to be flowing out of abundance. And that's why I'll have so much to give to people, because I spend a lot of my time becoming more. And when I become more, I'm going to have more, right? So those of you, like, some people are battling, like, with finances. Finances are not good. There's a video that I want you guys to watch. I'm going to put it in the comment section of this playlist. And Jim Rohn, he says, you can have more than you are because you could become, you could have more than you got because you could become more than you are. You know what I mean? And he talks about, why did I get a phone call that was worth $1 million? How come I got $1 million phone call, $1 million opportunity? And it's because he became more valuable to the marketplace. And all of you have that potential to bring more value to the marketplace. You don't have to make $7.50. You don't have to get excited about $15 an hour. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, and sure, if that's all you could get for now, sure, like start there. There's no shame in starting there, but just know that that's not what you're limited to, and you're capable of more if you so dare to dream bigger. People are scared to dream. People don't like talking about $1 million because their idea of whether or not they'll ever get there, they're like, yeah, millionaire. That's not for me. I'll never get there. And that's the reason they'll never get there, because they'll never be curious to ask on Google how to be a millionaire, or to read a book that the title is, here's the steps to becoming a millionaire, verbatim, word for word. Like, it's probably a book with that ridiculous title, and it has all the steps necessary, and people don't read it, and they could read, and people don't watch these videos to teach them how to be better people. And these videos are out there, you know what I'm saying? It depends on what you want. Focus on what you want, right? Be obsessed with what you want. And please don't be obsessed with the obstacles that stand in the way of your dream, because the day you decided to dream, like, the obstacles were formed, man. Like, it's just like that, everything that you want, there's something that stands in the way of what you want. And you leaping over obstacles is a testament to yourself on how bad do you want it. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, man, I hope that you guys really believe in yourself, man. It's so important to me. And you'll be able to, once you achieve more, you'll be able to give more, like, I know a lot of people, they're like, a lot of you want to be a millionaire maybe, and you don't feel comfortable saying that around religious people. I understand exactly why, because religious people will be like, well, what do you need $1 million? Why do you need so much money? Why this and why that? Because their perception of $1 million is no one man needs so much money. No one man needs, you know what I mean? Let me tell you something about money, yo. Bill Gates is a billionaire. I'm sure you know that already, but it's probably a good thing that he's a billionaire, considering that he wants to wipe out the top 5 diseases in this world. He's trying to get rid of malaria. He's trying to get rid of other diseases. So it's probably a good thing that he's a billionaire. Some of you are like, I don't know what I would do with $1 billion. It's like, why not try to wipe out diseases with that money? Why not? You know what I mean? Like, people don't know what they would do with $1 million is because they're thinking about themselves when they think about the $1 million. They don't think about, damn, if I had this money, my poor ass family members, I could actually start giving them $10,000 for no reason. I could start helping poor people more. I could start, and why is it that you would be able to start giving more? Because you'll start having more. There was this one guy, he had 5,000 people per month paying him rent. Now, I have no idea how much money that is, but I know rent ranges between $600 a month and $1,400 a month. Maybe $3,000 if you live in like freaking Manhattan. It's expensive as hell there. But anyways, typically, I know that rent in America is somewhere between like $600 to $1,100, $1,200, something like that, typically. So can you imagine 5,000 people paying you that amount per month? You know what I mean? And you might be like, yo, well, I could imagine it, but it's hard for me to get excited about money because I really don't care about money, Well, it's like, bro, do you care about people? Because get excited about what you could do for others with that money. You know what I mean? Like, you're so shallow minded that you can't think beyond yourself. Oh, I don't know what I would do with $10 million. How about help other people? You know what I mean? How about start businesses? Like, yo, this guy, Jeff Bezos has 5,000 people working for him, right? You know what I mean? Can you imagine that you're single-handedly the reason that 5,000 people have a job, 10,000 people have a job? You know how much value you're bringing to the marketplace? People are employed because you chose to follow your dream. You are helping people. Like, there's this idea that rich people are greedy and they don't want to help anybody. And it's just so false, because anybody that has competence, what they want to do is find somebody teachable, find somebody that can mentor and teach that person how to be competent. And teach that person how to go out into the world and teach other people how to fish. You know what I mean? Everything in this world is created to manifest after its own kind. And competent people want to produce other competent people. This is why they love it. They're thrilled to mentor people. They're thrilled to meet people that want knowledge so they could pass on. Here's how to be a millionaire. Here's how to be a billionaire. Here's the books you got to read. Here's the podcast you got to listen to. Right. And then, and then that person, there's jobs available for everybody else, like whoever the hell created Apple. You know how many Apple stores exist? And the people working inside of these Apple stores, you know how many people have a job because one man had a dream? You know what I mean? How many people are employed because whoever created Apple decided to actually persevere and not listen? You think that person didn't have pessimistic ass negative neighbors and people that telling him that he's incapable of doing things? You know what I mean? Like, we're all going to have people tell us that we're shit. But whether or not you listen to that voice is completely up to you. I pray to God that you don't, man, because that voice will prohibit you from seeing what's possible for yourself, because you'll be too timid to create anything because you think that everyone's going to judge your creation, and you're so scared of human judgment that it paralyzes you. I don't understand being scared, you know what I mean, of human judgment so much to the point that you don't create anything because you're like, oh, what if people say bad things about it? If you think people's judgment is scary, don't you think God's, like, for those of you that believe in God, don't you think his judgment is that much more scarier? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just people, man. We're finite creatures that all have to die one day. Like, the graveyard is something that makes every man equal. What you think people are better than you just because they have a bad opinion on your artwork, and their opinion is so valid that they determine whether or not you ever create art ever again? Like, what the hell is that? Like, man, so, like, if you're weak emotionally, there's books, there's podcasts, there's content available that could help you get strong, man. You know what I mean? Every person, you want to talk about being born weak? Look at how fragile a fucking baby is. Everybody was an infant at once. And in that current form, babies are weak as hell, man. They're weak. They learn how to be insecure. They learn how to be strong. They learn how to, be emotionally affected by someone that's teasing them. All these things are passed on to us by other people that are emotionally affected. And then you feel like it's rightfully so because you study 2,000 other broken people and you come to the conclusion that being broken makes sense because everyone else around you is broken. And then that's where you draw your theology from. And everybody's indirectly, subliminally shaping your mindset and molding you. You know what I mean? And you're a product of other people molding you instead of you being a product of what you want to become. So please focus on what you want to become, you know what I mean? And know that things are possible for you. Just know that it's possible if you try. And if you're not willing to try, nothing is possible to the person that's pessimistic as hell and questions everything. I was talking to somebody in my inbox, and every time I give them a potential solution, they're like, yeah, but. Like, yo, I'm not interested in you telling me how hard your life is. Do you want something, or do you want to focus on how hard and unrealistic it is? People focus on how hard it is to get to heaven. That's not a good question. Is it hard to get to heaven? Is it worth your damn time if you get to heaven? That's a better question. You focus on how hard it is to become a millionaire. Terrible question. Is it worth my time? Start asking, is it worth my time if I do it? And then you'll quickly come to the conclusion that, yeah, you know what? Maybe it is worth my time if I become a millionaire. And you know what? It's worth other people's time around me if I become one, because I am a kind person. I am a giving person. And when I win, everyone around me wins. You know what I mean? And, yeah, so, develop your ideas, become a good speaker, become good at communication. Communication is so important because when you know how to negotiate, you can negotiate your own salary. And guess who's going to win? There's two people in the office. One knows how to properly negotiate his salary. The other person struggles with communication. Who's going to get a raise? The person that knows how to negotiate. Why? Because he knows how to communicate. Why? Because he's educated. You know what I mean? And because and some people think that, well, they were born dumb. They can't ever get educated. Yes, you can. You can read books. You can listen to podcasts. You can watch videos. You don't have to be stupid. Like, who told you you had to be stupid? So anyways, I could do this all day, but I'm going to cut it short for here. I pray that I provided you guys tremendous value. I love each of you very much, man. And if you ever have a specific podcast idea, let me know. I apologize for any curse words. I'm working on that. I know that it offends the elderly, and for the sake of them hearing my message, I don't mind adapting for the sake of them hearing what I'm saying, that I know is powerful, that if only they could put the curse words aside, they would be able to consume. But some people, curse words bother them so much they can't consume anything else after the curse word. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter if I think that's ridiculous. I'm willing to have the humility it takes to get rid of the curse words completely, so that I don't have to be the barrier between me and my own message that I want to send to people. You know what I mean? So if I stand in the way of my message and I'm the reason that you can't receive it, then I'll make adjustments. You know what I mean? Because I care about the individual receiving the message more than I care about complaining about how they're incapable and they should just get over my curses. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. Love you guys and take care, man.